Mick and Sam, taking you to jungle land. Bengals pride, it fills the air. Every week we're always there. Touchdowns, tackles, all the plays. Bengals roaring every way. Stories, news, and game recaps. Jungle Juice, we bridge those gaps. Welcome to the Jungle Juice. Mick and Sam, let's break it loose. Cincinnati, hear our call. Bengals fans, unite us all.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Jungle Juice podcast. I'm Sam. He's Mick. Mick, this feels weird. It's a Tuesday. This doesn't feel right. It feels a little weird. How's it going over there?
Yeah, no, it's doing good. Definitely change of pace. We're doing late night show at 10 o'clock. Am I sounding okay to you?
Yeah, I mean, as good as...
I think I'm sounding all right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I was hearing some acoustics coming through my headphones.
You sound
here.
normal. You sound normal. I don't know about good, but I don't know if we ever sound good. I mean, I don't know that we ever sound good. You know, it feels like that's kind of open to the beholder. But yeah, no, you sound fine.
Cool. Yeah, late night show, Tuesday night. Kind of like that we're, doing this late night, feels wrong in all the right ways.
Yeah, it could mean that things get a little bit off the rails, depending on how late we go into the evening on all of this. But what we're going to do this week is
we're doing this virtually, or else we'd be seeing each other right now.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. But we're going to end up splitting this week's show into two, as we're going to have a Tuesday show and a Thursday show, whereas today we're just going to be focusing on the game that happened this past Sunday, and then on Thursday we'll dive deeper into the game on Sunday for the Patriots. So today is really all going to be about the Steelers and kind of the aftermath of that, whereas on Thursday we're just going to focus on Sunday's game. So I think today's a lot of big picture in the takeaways from the game, whereas Thursday show is just going to be talking about the Patriots game. So what I think we do, Mick, because this might not be, the longest show in the world, is I think we just don't waste any more time. We just dive into what the heck we saw on Sunday against Pittsburgh. Yeah. And I think let's start with the offense. And honestly, I think we have to start with obviously the biggest story of the entire game coming out from it, and that is Spitgate for Jamar Chase. Is that what we're calling it?
I mean, I guess. I mean, it definitely happened.
So
we got really good footage on that. Yeah, it definitely occurred.
Yeah, and it was a loogie or something. Like he had it packed and loaded, ready for Jalen Ramsey. And we talked about this a little bit. Like, for one, by no means should there ever be an excuse for another man to spit on another man. That's like the lowest form of like insult.
What if it was to Jalen Ramsey?
And you led right into it. Because I think, as we talked last night or whenever it was, the way that you can kind of tell that Jalen Ramsey is kind of a curmudgeon, is that a good enough word for it? Is that you
asshole,
saw, is you saw what AJ Green, who like literally in the 20, 25 years we've been watching the Bengals, has there been a more mild-manner player for the Bengals than AJ Green?
I was going to say for the Bengals, probably not. Like at receiver, at receiver in particular, like, you always hear about receivers like kind of having a chip on their shoulder, maybe being a little bit of a diva at points because
egotistical,
of the position that they play. Egotistical. I mean, Jamar kind of has those qualities to a certain extent. Chad had those qualities, right? It's really, I mean, those two are the big ones I'm thinking of. This is really just for alpha receivers, though. Like number one receivers usually have that stigma to them.
They got a little bit of the dog in them, right?
AJ Green couldn't have been anything farther from that. where he's still a really good wide receiver, number one, but you didn't really hear him talking trash or hear stories of him, being, I guess, an asshole on the field or anything like that. And Jalen Ramsey really struck a nerve with Jalen Ramsey back in with JJ Green back in 2017 with the whole, putting Jalen Ramsey in a reverse chokehold and just repeatedly punching him in the helmet.
I remember watching that when it happened, and I think I was like, "Oh, what the hell? Like, what is happening right now?" I was like, "What?"
Well, then you just you have it in your head. You're just like, what could Jalen Ramsey have possibly said for AJ Green to react that way? And I think it was probably the answer we all thought it would be. If we remember correctly,
in trash talk, I think is what it was.
Right? Something, I think it said something about AJ's kids. I don't know if that's exactly
or a cousin or something that had recently passed away. I don't really remember the details.
He said some really screwed up shit. Like he said some pretty messed up shit.
There's a line. There's a line, and then I think the takeaway too from the Jamar thing, and we talked about this last night, is in the first quarter, maybe even the second quarter, in the first half though, Jamar Chase runs a little curl routes, and Jalen Ramsey takes 2 or 3 steps and then hits Jamar Chase when Jamar clearly did not have the football. For one, and that followed up how in the hell that was a first down. Let's come back to that. But I'm just wondering with that, why is that not a penalty? And I think that those are the hits that when you look back later in a game and you see these things start to flare up, you can look back to plays like that as to why an officiating crew doesn't automatically flag that, especially when you're in a divisional game. This wasn't the Bengals against the Cardinals, to where there's no animosity between those two teams, at least that I'm aware of, other than Jonah Williams coming in and Akeem Davis-Gaither. But, that's not animosity. So that is on the officiating crew, in my eyes, for not immediately throwing a flag and saying, hey, that's it, we're not doing this, between a elite wide receiver and a corner who has had his days of being a curmudgeon, as I said.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that the officiating crew
can we talk about that fourth down
this
play?
Game. And it happened on both sides of the ball in the game. Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely should have been a flag on Jalen Ramsey. I think the reporters or the commentators up in the booth, Trent Green and whoever was the play-by-play guy, I
Kevin
think that they
Harlan.
also Kevin
really
Harlan.
Just say whoever to Kevin Harlan.
I'm not well rehearsing play-by-play guys.
Oh God, Kevin Harlan's maybe the GOAT though. Kevin Harlan is A-list. He's better than Jim Nantz.
Well, yeah, but Jim Nantz is like the A-list, or is he the A-team guy?
Anyways, yes, alas.
Anyways, yeah, that should have been a penalty called. That was one of a few moments, between Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey. I think that I've at least mentioned on this podcast plenty of times that, or in the times that they've matched up. I just want to know the amount of talk between these two guys, because these are the two biggest trash talkers in all of football, are Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. You knew this was going to be bound to happen at some point, something to the magnitude of Jamar Chase eventually spitting on Jalen Ramsey and then Jalen Ramsey throwing punches. You thought this was probably something like this was going to happen. Now, fortunately, we got really the rough end of the stick there. Jalen Ramsey is out for less than a quarter of football, and Jamar Chase is not playing next week against the Patriots. So I guess
is a one game suspension for Jamar Chase, is that justified, or do you think it's too much, too little? What are your eyes on that?
No, it's justified. If you're establishing precedent based off of the Jalen Carter incident, Jalen Carter was ejected for the game, but there were no plays that had been conducted in the course of that game. That was before the first play on the field. That wasn't the kickoff. It took place in that Cowboys-Eagles game. And what ended up happening was Jalen Carter was obviously ejected from the game. And I think the rules committee or whatever came out after the game, or the NFL came out and said, well, it was a 1-game suspension, but also Jalen Carter didn't play at all during that game, so that will count as his 1-game suspension.
And I can say here, sorry to, I just looked down. Jamar Chase's appeal of his 1-game suspension was just denied. Just came through right now. So I don't think that that's even a little bit surprising, but it was just denied.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair ruling. It obviously happened. I kind of wish that the refs caught it. Kind of wish they caught it in action, because Jamar would have just been ejected from the game. And is my audio?
Okay, I think you're back now. Nope. You stroked out a little bit there.
I hear you.
I think you're back now. Yes,
I did. It was the technology, not me.
We hope.
Anyways, yeah. Anyways, shit, I don't even know where
you were mentioning that you had hoped that they had caught the Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah,
during the game.
Yeah, because he would have been ejected from the game, and maybe it would have been just a hefty fine, and he's playing against the Patriots next Sunday, or this upcoming Sunday. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We're not going to have Jamar, but I think it's definitely a justified suspension.
Let's talk more about the Bengals offense in this game, because I think that the biggest takeaway for me was, and we'll come back to the offensive line, because obviously there's a lot to unpack with that. But Joe Flacco, his worst PFF grade since 2022. Ironically enough, that game, Mick, was against the Bengals. So it was his worst game when he was with the Jets against the Bengals in 2022. I mean, my biggest takeaways from this is that pick six Flacco threw was really bad. Like, that was a really bad decision, and it was a Joe Flacco decision. Those have been the plays that, to me, like, you hear so many fans that keep wanting to say, oh, look, there's not that much of a difference between Joe Flacco and Joe Burrow. Those are the plays that you rarely see Joe Burrow make, whereas you've seen Flacco make throughout his career. So that's the stark difference. But for me, my biggest takeaway about Joe Flacco is I think that shoulder is a big problem, and he's fighting through a lot. And I'm wondering if that's starting to catch up to him, along with just the fact that this team isn't very good.
Yeah. I mean, I think the shoulder definitely could be catching up to him. We didn't see Joe Flacco play good football, and it wasn't like that was the only throw that was bad. There was I was trying to find the exact play here. 3rd and 7, 208.
Did you print off notes today?
I printed off like a play-by-play thing, and I was rewatching the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Fancy. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So 208 left in the second quarter. Flacco got lucky on a pass that was in triple coverage that should have been picked. It was like a short middle pass to Chase Brown. He had 3
Duggar almost intercepted.
Yeah, that was the one where Kyle Duggar should have had that one too. It was like almost the exact same play. I think maybe Yoshi was Yoshi the targeted receiver on the interception. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of the same deal there. But yeah, Flacco just didn't have a good game. You saw, and that's not what you thought early on in the game either. You saw that the offense is moving the ball down the field really well. Saw a really nice throw from him to T. Higgins for that touchdown, which I know you and I are going to disagree on this. They should have just taken the damn points on that first possession of the game, tie the game up. I hate this. I really hate the stigma. Oh, if you can't get 1 yard, you don't deserve to win the game. Like, that's just stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but
the play call wasn't great. The play call was not a great play call at all. I was a little intrigued as to that. Now, I mean, like, that's one of those things the analytics say go for it in that scenario. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you in that scenario. But to quote former UK offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, Mick, if it would have worked, you'd have loved it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not faulting the play call. Like, I liked that they were trying to be a little more risky. I don't even know, risky, creative with the Wildcat formation. Trent Green even pointed out there was like a mismatch with Joe Flacco on the far sideline that if Chase Brown would have just reared back and thrown the ball and just was a ball that was catchable enough by Joe Flacco, that would have been in. But yeah, I mean, I think it's that early in the game. Yeah, I get it's at the 1, but take the points. Like, you're really putting yourself. You're not putting yourself at a good advantage, at a good spot, just being down 1 point. I feel like it ruins team morale if you're down a point just because you went for it there. So I just wasn't a huge fan of that.
But at the same time, you get it. That gives you an extra boost of momentum.
Yeah, but is it really worth? Is it worth the risk to do that? I don't think it is.
I don't know. It's a good question to have. Another positive for me on the offense was Chase Brown. Again, the run game over these last couple of games, take out the Bears game where it really wasn't as great. The run game's been pretty good. I mean, Chase Brown, 18 carries for 99 yards. I think, what's that, about 5.5 yards a carry? Taj Brooks had 1 carry for 5 yards. You saw some things there from this run game, and I don't know, maybe they found a little something out. Now, obviously, the Steelers' defense is not elite, but against the run, they're better than they are against the pass.
Yeah, it was a very advantageous day to run the ball. They were running 2 high shell with Jalen Ramsey and Kyle Duggar pretty much that entire game. I think that's another reason why Joe Flacco really wasn't able to do anything. You can't really work the middle of the field that well with the weapons you have. Like, Chase Brown's receiving has been pretty suspect this year. He's had issues with drops. We know that Yoshavash isn't the greatest wide receiver 3 in the league. He's not even a particularly good wide receiver 3 in the league. Noah Fant's had, some flashes here and there, but hasn't been, a consistent force like a Mike Gesicki has been, or like a Hayden Hurst was a couple of years ago, or obviously, or how Tyler Boyd was for
even CJ Uzomah. I mean, CJ Uzomah had his moments.
So, like, you're kind of at a disadvantage just going to the middle of the field all the time. And also kudos to Terrell Austin for making the switch. And I don't know why we didn't even think of or really note this in the notes prior to the game of moving Jalen Ramsey to that safety spot, because obviously he doesn't, his athleticism looked really shot at corner against Jamar in that Thursday night game. Jamar was just running circles around him. But now you just double up Jamar with Jalen Ramsey playing the support role there as the safety with Joey Porter Jr. being matched up with Jamar Chase. Really, I think it boded a lot better for that defense in this past game on Sunday.
Okay, we got to talk about this offensive line. Wasn't all bad. Ted Karras, good game. Dylan Fairchild played well. You know what? I'm even going to say Amarius Mims, a 60 pass blocking grade. Is that great? No. But when you're going up against a guy like TJ Watt the entire time, you turn that in, that's going to be okay. And
Amarius Mims was solely, maybe not solely, but huge. He's very, very much responsible for the 35-yard run from Chase Brown to open up the second half. He sealed that hole incredibly. Like, that was a great blocking job in run blocking from Amarius Mims.
Okay. There we go. We did the positives, right? Orlando Brown Jr. and Jalen Rivers. They combined to give up 1 sack, 1 hit, 7 hurries, and 9 pressures. Is that good?
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, who was matched up against Orlando Brown Jr.? Was that Herbig?
Yes.
Herbig had a really big day.
Yes, it was Herbig
on Sunday. And yeah, just that edge rushing unit for the Steelers, even with an Alex Highsmith being out. He was out during the game, I think.
Yes, he did play.
Yeah,
he did not play.
Even with an Alex Highsmith being out, is still just a really, really formidable unit that they have. So yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. didn't have a great day. I am tired of seeing Jalen Ramsey, or not Jalen Ramsey. I'm tired of seeing Jalen Ramsey too.
Same.
I am tired of seeing Jalen Rivers on the field. Like,
I don't get it.
And he eventually got benched. I think Dalton Reisler ended up
hurt.
having 9 snaps. He got hurt. Well, Dalton Reisler came in and had an 81 pass block grade at the right guard position. I don't know. Like, I'm tired of this, like, this whole youth movement thing. Like, yeah, it's a youth. You can do a youth movement if it actually works out and your players aren't playing half bad. Like, even if they're grading in the 50s, like, that's fine. Like, that, sure, they go ahead and keep them in the game, let them develop. We haven't really seen a good game out of Jalen Rivers yet. And he's been starting since week 4.
I saw Joe Goodberry on Twitter, and I'll give him the credit for saying this, and I couldn't agree more. He said, if Joe Burrow does come back here in a couple of weeks, Jalen Rivers does not need to be within 1,000 feet of him.
Yeah. I think Joe Burrow should put a restraining order on Jalen Rivers.
I mean, Jalen Rivers,
time he wants to come back.
In fact, I want to go and look, and I bet it's better. I bet Michael Jordan's guard grades are better than Jalen Rivers's are.
I'm pretty sure they are.
They were. I'm saying, like, Michael Jordan 2020.
And Michael Jordan tore Joe Burrow's entire knee apart
he did.
in a game. Like, that's
he did.
That's such a crazy statement to make. But it's
not wrong.
Like, yeah, it's true. Like, why did you sign Dalton Reisner if you're not going to utilize him? Like, what the fuck was the point of putting him out there?
I don't know. That I don't know that. The Orlando Brown thing is interesting because you're starting to see some rumblings of, okay, how much trust can you put in a guy like that? So I went and I looked just out of curiosity because I think it's a discussion that will be had. Okay, can you get away from him this year? And what that would do, the Orlando Brown in the offseason, it would save 21.9 against the cap with about $8 million in dead money. That's not great, but at the same time, that is potentially doable. But my biggest thing is, and it's why I don't think you can do it, is, okay, yeah, Orlando Brown hasn't been great, but who the hell else do you have to play left tackle?
I was going to say that, and also if they fire Zach Taylor, that's already like $6 million out the door. They're not going to throw out another $8 million to
in dead money, yeah.
Orlando Brown Jr. off the team. And it's a crazy case with Orlando Brown Jr. because you've just seen like so many like
peaks and valleys.
Different ends. Yeah, you've seen different ends of variances. Like, it's the Tesla stock of left tackle play for Orlando Brown Jr. It's just extremely volatile. But it's just like, it seems like every time he's played against...
What a comparison. Orlando Brown is the Tesla stock of left tackle play. What a line. What a line.
There we go. Coin it. Put that in a reel. See if that gets any interaction. Anyways, yeah, it's just you've seen some really good. You've seen some good games from Orlando Brown Jr. He had an 85.9 pass block grade against the Jags. You saw a good 3-game stretch from him against the Packers, Steelers, and Jets. Decent game against the Bears, wasn't all terrible, but you see him go up against good pass rushing units like the Lions, like the Steelers this time around. The Viking, the Brian Flores scheme, just dealing with all those stunts and whatnot. That's where you just start to see him be a liability. I think that's why you also saw why the Bengals were willing to make a free agency splash signing with them, because other teams probably knew this about Orlando Brown Jr. and they weren't, they probably weren't willing to make him their left tackle. Remember, he was a right tackle for most of the time he's been in the league. So yeah, it's just, I mean, they're not going to cut him after this year. I don't know who the hell else they would have. Riley mentions Caden Proctor being the starting tackle next year. Do we really want to draft another tackle in the first round? We just did it a few years ago. Like, you have other holes in this roster you need to fill.
Let's switch sides here. Let's talk a little defense. We've got enough about the offense because as rough as the offense was, there at least were some positives on the defense, and I want to start there. So for one, Mick, the defense forced 3 straight punts in the first half.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so here you go. When's the last time they forced 2 straight punts in a game?
Was it Steelers week 7?
Nope, you got to go back further.
Browns week 1?
Lions.
Was
last time they did twice. When's the last time they did 3 times? It would be the Broncos game. I was debating on whether I wanted to go look at 4 straight, but it didn't happen this year, and I felt like I was going to have to go back a long time, and honestly, I didn't have the time to do that. But still, there's a positive. To me, the other biggest positive, Myles Murphy. Hey, look at that guy. Probably the best game of his career. 6 pressures, a sack, 1 hit, 4 hurries. That was the first time, I think, in Myles Murphy's career that you're thinking, hey, now, maybe there is something there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the edge rush play in general was decent in this game. Not just Myles Murphy. Joseph Osai also had a pretty good game. Myles Murphy with a 17% win rate. Joseph Osai with a 26% win rate, which is like a Trey Hendrickson win rate percentage. To be fair, the tackle tandem of the Pittsburgh Steelers is not a very good tandem. So it's good that they were just beating up on bad competition there, but it's better than what we've seen since Trey Hendrickson has been out. There hasn't been any pressure up until this past game on Sunday, but yeah, Myles Murphy looked really good. Wasn't perfect by any means, but it was kind of a breath of fresh air seeing him out there as opposed to watching Shamar Stewart just getting manhandled at the edge rushing position like we've seen for the past month. But Myles looked really good. You obviously saw the sack. You know, even though he had an encroachment penalty, I did like that he was making a good effort of trying to time the snap up. I feel like you haven't seen really that type of timing out of edge rushers from the Bengals so far this season. The roughing the passer call. What do you think? I mean, I think that was probably a roughing the passer call on Myles Murphy.
The one at the legs or whatever?
Yeah, he went low on Aaron Rodgers, which, I thought was
I didn't know about that one.
The Joseph Osai call I thought was bad until you saw the replay and you're like, oh, well, his hand was literally in. Yeah,
he's just giving him a tap on the head, just saying, hey, nice to see you. That's all he was saying. My thing is, and we say this all the time, is when the hell's Joe Burrow going to get those calls? Because I feel like Joe Burrow never gets those calls.
Like when Joe Burrow starts flopping a little more.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to. He's probably going to have to. And that's annoying.
To be fair, the Steelers got a pretty ticky-tacky roughing the passer call.
It was a good call. Good call. During that game. Good call. Great call. Best call I've ever seen. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, too. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Dax Hill had his best game since week 2.
Yeah, that was nice. It's a good thing. I mean, it was against the Steelers wide receiver core, so again, against bad competition, but I'll take it. Yeah, Dax looked pretty good in this game.
Listen, Mick, when we're talking about this defense, we need to find silver linings.
Yeah.
Because now from here on out, I don't know that there's anything positive that we have to talk about, is there?
I'm tired of watching this team not being able to handle tight ends at all. It's just like it really just befuddles me. Like, we can't have a guy that's strong and fast on the field. It's one or the other. You have Jordan Battle on the strong end of variance, but if you have Jordan Battle out in open space and you're an opposing skill position player, you're licking your chops at that, because there's no way Jordan Battle is going to be able to beat up with you in time, and he's going to be on your back. And you're going to be running past him for another 10 yards. Or you got a Geno Stone who's in position to make a play, but he's too soft or weak to do it. Or scared to do it, which is what you saw against him against Darnell Washington. Like, it's just what Darnell Washington's not that good. Why are we letting him look like an all-pro tight end in this league? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'm tired of watching Barrett Carter.
Yeah, the linebackers where I was going to go. Your 2 starters, Oren Burks, 44.5 PFF grade. Barrett Carter, 37 PFF grade, combined for 6 missed tackles.
Yeah.
The Bengals had, I think, was it 97 missed tackles on Sunday? Was that the right number?
I don't know if it was 97 missed tackles. 16 missed tackles.
I think it was more like 97. At least that's what it felt like. And it's just amazing. And you mentioned the whole covering the tight end thing. You know who I miss? I miss Trey Flowers. Felt like that dude shut tight ends down. Remember they'd bring him in against Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce would never really do much. What's Trey Flowers doing?
Yeah, they could have taken my draft suggestion and gotten Nick Emanwari in the first round, and that would have been your tight end solution right there. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just a podcaster that comes on with you every week. That's it. But
Trey Flowers is still in the league. He's with the Lions right now, but he's on the practice squad. We could bring him back.
Okay, wait, is that the right Trey Flowers though? Because there's two different Trey Flowers, and one played for the Lions in the past as like an edge rusher.
It is. Yes, it is.
It's the right. Okay,
it is the cornerback who, honestly, Mick, and we like to do this every once in a while, where we like to try and get the other person to say where a Bengal went to college. I wouldn't have known this. Where did Trey Flowers go to college? What didn't have this in my bingo card? I wouldn't have gotten this.
Is it like a very obscure school?
I would not call this obscure at all.
Arkansas?
Oklahoma State.
Damn. Okay.
I wouldn't have gotten that. I wouldn't have gotten this. Travis asks, so what do we think is the problem? Oren Burks was a monster on the Eagles during the playoffs last year. Why do we think players get worse once they sign in Cincinnati?
Because Vic Fangio is not the coach of the defense. Like, that's just...
And then
that's the simplest answer.
There's a whole lot more talent on that Eagles defense to where Oren Burks isn't going to be maybe as exposed as he is on this Bengals defense.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, he was playing against next to guys like Zach Bond, who was a reclamation project last year, by the way, for the Eagles, who hadn't done anything in his career with the Saints, and then Vic Fangio turns him to an All-Pro. But also, you have a really good front four for the Eagles. You had guys like Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, and company on that defensive line. Jalix Hunt as a rookie was pretty good. Moro Ojomo. You don't have that with this Bengals roster. So yeah, there's a lack of talent up in front of Oren Burks, and also there is a lack of talent on the sideline in terms of the coaching because Vic Fangio is not doing it.
Steven writes a comment here that a lot of fans have been saying. Sell Burrow, keep Flacco, and get a defense that can tackle their too little. Listen. Anybody that says trade Joe Burrow, Mick, I got nothing to say to them.
Yeah, I'm just not going to give too much weight to that, but
I'm not going to. We just, and we, as we talked about earlier, there is a massive difference between Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco. Massive difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. Yeah. But like Schubert says, Flacco is 40 years old.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a huge conversation on how they're going to make this defense better, because there's almost nobody on this defense that you feel comfortable with building in future years, right? Like you don't feel comfortable with anybody other than DJ Turner. Maybe Dax Hill. It's not like Dax Hill's been that great this year, though.
If right now, I think those are the only two guys that you would say, yes, I am okay with them being starters next year on the Bengals. Honestly, if you re-sign a Joseph Osai, I think I'm okay with that. But I like just trying to find anything. But as far as like, who's your other corner? You got a hole there. Your safeties, I think you got to replace them. You need some help at linebacker. Defensive line, I don't know what the hell you're going to do there. So I don't. This offseason, Mick, we're probably just going to maybe have to take the month of February and just do how to fix the defense and just do like a 4-part series and try and figure it out. Because it's not a simple answer.
No, it's not. I mean, there's so many holes within this defense, from the safety room to at least one of the corner spots. I think, it seems like Demetrius Knight got a light benching in this game, and maybe it was nice that he had limited reps, because I thought he played a little bit better in this game than you've seen in previous games when he's had a huge workload. Also had a funny note where Trent Green mentioned that Demetrius Knight was leading all of rookies in tackles, but he pretended like it was a good thing. It's like, oh, it's because he makes tackles like this, where he goes and wraps up for the legs. To be fair, he made a good tackle on that play. That's not why he leads the league in tackles. It's because he doesn't know how to cover tight ends and slot wide receivers or running backs, and he's allowing receptions and then getting the tackle that way when they're 10 yards down the field and they convert a first down. Like, it's just anyways, you're going to have to see which one of those linebackers work. I don't think I'd rather have Demetrius Knight out there than Barrett Carter. Barrett Carter looks small, weak. He takes terrible angles at the ball. I just don't. It pisses me off that he's out there on the field. Like I rather would have seen Oren Burks and Demetrius Knight out there than Bear
Or
Carter
Joe Giles Harris. Like, let's see what the hell we got out of him.
Brian Asamoah.
Yeah, there we go.
The new guy.
Yeah. I think we're getting inching closer, and I think we're like 2 feet in, but haven't fully like gone head first in yet of mock draft season for Bengals fans. I think we're pretty much there. So what I did today is I found a mock draft. CBS Sports released a new one today, Mick, and I just want you to right now grade if this is who the Bengals take with the 9th pick right now. The 9th pick. I want you to grade this pick right now. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
With the 9th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. Can you imagine? Like,
that had to have been a Pete Prisco draft. Who did it?
I honestly, I didn't even look at it just because I wrote it down because
it's
CBS Sports that did it. I'll try to find it here while we're talking.
Please don't let it be the guy please don't let it be Mike Renner.
It was Mike Renner.
Mike, what are you doing, Mike?
Mike Renner. Here's the thing. Part of me is kind of like, screw it. Let's just score 80 points a game. Because listen, I love Jeremiah Love. But I just like that would be the thing. But I am going to make my prediction right now. It is right now today, November the 18th, Mick. And here is my bold Bengals draft prediction. I'm going to tell you who they're going to draft right now. Okay? They're going to draft Jermod McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. I feel like he is the quintessential Bengals first-round pick. I don't know if you know much about him, Mick, but he was graded as a highly touted prospect, but tore his ACL in January. And he has not played at all for Tennessee this year and is recovering. That, to me, is just the Bengals pick. Not saying I'd love it, just making that prediction right now. You heard it here first, Jermod McCoy. Keep an eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that guy. I would not want to go corner in the first round, though. I can tell you that. But sure. I'd much rather have Peter Woods if he's available.
From Clemson, yeah. Or
just give me
the guy
please.
The guy we're going to be talking about a lot, though, is Caleb Downs. And again, we're way too early to draft
Downs either. Honestly, that'd be fine.
Honestly,
that'd be okay.
Mick, let's be real. You're probably not going to be that unhappy as long as it's a defensive player, right? Unless they draft Shamar Stewart, yeah.
Yeah. Who's the Shamar Stewart of this year's draft class, fam? Somebody give me an answer here.
Schubert says Spencer Fano is also a possibility. I mean, if Orlando Brown's cut, then yeah. But I still don't know if that's the case. But yeah, Jeremiah Love is CBS Sports' your guy Mike Renner's mock draft right now to the Bengals.
Well,
and that is picked over. So I'll just tell you, maybe this will make you feel better. Picked over Spencer Fano, Jermod McCoy, David Bailey, who's an edge from Texas Tech, and a couple other players there. They do have before that in this mock draft, Caleb Downs and Peter Woods was taken second, and then Reuben Bain Jr. as well. He's going to be the guy that you're going to be hearing a lot about in draft doing that.
Such a good name.
Reuben Bain Jr. It is pretty good.
The mock draft database. So, this is the consensus board. They have Keldrick Falk, the edge out of Auburn, coming to.
And if I remember right, I started doing a little bit of mock draft reading this week. I don't think he has a lot of production. Hey, right in the Bengals wheelhouse. You know how they feel about guys that have traits but no production.
Yeah. Now,
great.
To be fair, we don't know what's going to be the coaching staff next year. Where are we going to have Zach doing it, or we're finding a bunch of these, You know
what? Make it right now.
Guys doing it.
Bold prediction. Bengals week 1 next year. Who's the Cincinnati Bengals head coach?
Probably Zach Taylor. God damn it. I hope it's not. I think that his seat hasn't never been hotter. I don't know how you can survive. Marvin didn't even survive not making the playoffs 3 years in a row. Well, I guess he did technically, but 2008 was a mulligan year where Carson Palmer was hurt Carson Palmer was not. He was dealing with the UCL issue in his elbow. He was out after week 3, so they had Fitz throwing the ball the entire. This was before Ryan Fitzpatrick was good.
Here is my. You know what? I'm going to throw another bold prediction, and I want your grade on it. If this was the guy, what about Jesse Minter?
So I actually have I don't have my phone on me, but I do have a decent list of coaches I really like. Jesse Minter is on my top 10 board for coaches I would like to have replaced. I'd like to have replaced Zach Taylor. I mean, Joe Brady's by far and away number 1, but Jesse Minter's probably top 10. Wouldn't mind a Zach Robinson coming in from the Atlanta Falcons, even though they haven't had a stellar year this year. I think he's done a pretty good job of calling offense. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a wait and see game with that. But I don't know how Zach's really going to survive this season. Al Golden definitely shouldn't survive this season, considering how much the defense has regressed since last year, where we were talking about how historically bad of a defense they were.
They said, "Hold my beer." Schubert says Anarumo would easily be the funniest hire. Travis says Brian Flores. I can't see the Bengals hiring Brian Flores. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves on these discussions. Obviously.
Under the radar name, by the way, Matt Burke. Do you even know who Matt Burke is?
That name sounds familiar. Why do I know that name?
He's the coordinator for the Texans, but he has some rapport with the Bengals organization. He was the linebackers coach in 2014 and 2015. So when Paul Gunther got elevated to the defensive coordinator spot.
What is Paulie G doing?
What is he around anymore? He's a D coordinator for UNLV. I'm pretty sure Vontez is
That's right. You are right. Yeah, you are right about that. Well, Paulie G. Yep, he's the interim defensive coordinator, in fact. How did he? Oh, Zach Arnett resigned. Okay, interesting.
Wow. Yes, listeners, you just got an update on the UNLV coaching
interim defensive coordinator. Who'd have thunk that? Zach Taylor and Brian Flores do not like one another at all. I don't think that's why that I don't think it would happen. I just think some of the Brian Flores versus the NFL, I don't see Mike Brown wanting to stick his hands in that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, discussion for another day, of course. On Thursday, same time, right, Mick? 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. Dude, 10 o'clock on Thursday.
We'll dive into the Patriots game and talk about the hottest team in the NFL. Who'd have thunk that would be was what we would be saying on that. Oh.
In quotation marks.
We're going to have maybe a Bengals pick on Thursday from Mick. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see for that. So that'll be our show on Thursday. So make sure you join us for that. Remember to follow us on our social media channels as well, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're also on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating that way. Schubert says Rich Bisaccia from the Packers.
Like 70 years old.
He's up there.
Yeah,
he's up there. I still think Jesse Minter too. And honestly, I didn't know this until this week, Mick. Do you know where Jesse Minter went to college and played college football?
Did he go to UC?
Close. Mount St. Joe's.
Okay. Well, Rick Minter was the
head coach.
Yeah,
correct.
That's his dad.
Correct. And then was the so Jesse went to Mount St. Joe's. So that'll wrap us up here for this week. Any parting thoughts?
No.
Did we not cover anything that you wanted to?
No. Pretty shitty game from a pretty shitty team.
Wise words from Mick Nelson.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Thursday night. Until then, Houday, and have a great couple of days. Stay dry. It's a little wet here, at least in Kentucky.
Yeah. Houday. Thanks for watching.